What's going on, everybody? My name's Jake, this is my FK, and today I'm going to be going over 5 things that I love and hate about my 2018 Honda Civic Type R. Pull out my handy dandy notebook here. Shout out Blues Clues. Alright, so the first thing I hate is going to be the infotainment system. So let's go ahead and get this thing started real fast and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so we got this thing on accessory mode here, and I'm going to show you my problem with this infotainment system. One, it is like slow with touch and stuff here. Takes a while to load. That's my #1 complaint with it. As well as there's no like gauges. I know on the FL5 Type R, they have like the R Plus mode or something. You click on it and it pulls up all your gauges, which is fantastic. I wish I did that on this car. And then I think the biggest problem I have is like I can use my climate, right? So you click on climate, you can change the temperature here, but you have to go into your climate page to like change your fan speed and everything, which is super annoying. And then on top of that, volume. There's no volume knob, everything's touchscreen. So like you got to sit here and press it a bazillion times to turn your music up and down. I usually just end up using this here on the steering wheel. So another thing I forgot to mention, right, is you've got your modes here. So you're in your sport mode, your normal mode, and then you also have Plus R, and then you have comfort. My biggest complaint with that is the fact that there's no customization. So I go to the R mode, right, so that'll stiffen up your steering, your throttle response will be better, and then your dampeners stiffen. But there's no way to like customize it where like, oh, I don't want rev match anymore, so I can take that off. There's no like settings in here to change all that. Say you want the stiffer steering wheel normally with your sport mode, you can't do that, which is kind of a, I don't know, big complaint for me. I wish they would have changed that a little bit. I know like the Veloster N has a whole bunch of different customization that you can do, but. All right, so #2, I don't know if you guys know this, but when the FK originally came out, there was supposed to be 2 different trim models. There was just the normal Type R, and then there was a Touring Type R. And my biggest problem is that they didn't come out with another package for this vehicle to offer like all-wheel drive. So if you look at the competition with the Type R, you got the STIs, which are all-wheel drive. You have the Golf R, which is all-wheel drive. And then you have the Focus RS, which is also all-wheel drive. So them not having like an all-wheel drive trim level with this car, it's kind of annoying. I understand it's Honda and they're like front-wheel drive everything, you know, which like I can appreciate. I love how the car handles. But them not having that option from factories kind of sucks. I feel like they could have reached a larger audience of people if they made it all-wheel drive, especially with the drag community. Because the biggest problem with this vehicle, if you do try to bring it to the drag strip, is it can't launch at all. You know, you have people coming in at like 130 plus miles an hour and they're running like 12 seconds. You know, which means their first 60 feet they have no traction at all. And if this was all-wheel drive, it'd be able to launch better, and you know, those guys would be in the 10s or high 9s. So the third thing is overheating, especially on track days. Day-to-day driving, you don't really see it as much, but if you do bring your vehicle to the track, you are definitely going to overheat, and you have to take a lot of cool-down laps in between your hot sessions. I know a lot of people to like combat that will use the secondary oil cooler. I think Mishimoto makes one, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure they do. So if you are going to track your vehicle, I would 100% recommend trying to get that secondary oil cooler. As you can see here, I have my stock wheels. The 20-inch wheels from factory is by far like one of my biggest complaints with this. I know in the FL5 they dropped them down to 19s from factory. When you first have this vehicle on the 20-inch wheels, you have zero hook when you try to launch. It's terrible. So 100% recommend getting rid of these and getting yourself size 18s. It's night and day difference. And finally, the 5th thing that I hate about the FK Type R, fake vents. There is fake vents everywhere, and they're not little either. Like this whole piece right here, it's fake. So Aftermarket, they do sell real vents, which is nice. Carbon fiber, a whole bunch of different kinds. So definitely I'll be picking those up in the future, but the fake vents kill me. So I'll walk around the vehicle real fast and show you these. So as you can see, it's my hand for reference. You know, that's all fake. Now you do have your real vents down here and here to cool your brakes, which is nice. The other side, now let's work over to the back. And I also just really am not a fan of how these look. The 2020 facelift, they added that like little like check mark in here. I like those a lot more. But yeah, as you can see, another fake vent, and then there's like a fake sensor for a camera here for like parking and stuff, which is also kind of annoying. And then you got more fake vents right here, and then you got the same thing on the other side. You got that fake vent here, and then all this is fake. All right, so now I'm gonna get on to the things that I love. Number one, we'll start with looks. I love how this vehicle looks. I know it can go either way, depending on your age. I think if you're older, you'll probably like the FL5 a lot more, but you know, you're a younger guy or girl, the looks of this are fantastic. It's fantastic. It's very aggressive, which I enjoy a lot, and it looks like a track car. You know, it is supposed to be made for the track, so it fits that part very nice with its looks. On top of that, if you are like a stance guy and you want to lower this vehicle, put it on bags and whatnot, they look very good on bags. They look good with like the track stance. If you get like lowering springs, 18-inch wheels, and have a little bit of poke, they look fantastic. And then if you go like full bore track look, where you get like an APR wing and stuff like that, and big splitters, they look very, very good. So the second thing I love about the Type R is the interior. I'll bring you guys inside real fast for that. So as you can see on mine, I have the Braum racing harnesses as well as the Braum harness bar. So I love the seats. They're Alcantara. They feel fantastic, very comfortable, and the bolstering on these is great for track days and for the corners. I will say the only problem I have, right, is you got the red seats up front. You still kept the red seat belts, but they put black seats in the rear. I'm not too sure why they did that, but still very comfortable. A lot of space back here. The interior is beautiful in this car. Another thing that's kind of like nitpicky, but I do wish they put like real carbon fiber on here, kind of like it's the fake carbon fiber in both spots. Kind of annoying for the price, but you know, it's not too bad. Okay, so on to the third thing that I love about the Type R is its handling and its brakes. You can tell that this vehicle was made for the track straight out of the box. So if you are trying to get into tracking a vehicle and you just want something that's ready for the track, as soon as you buy it, I would highly recommend the FK8 and FL5 Type Rs. They're fantastic. Just numbers here real quick. The FK8 ran a 743 at the Nürburgring, and then you've got Ford, who they're like trophy car minus the Ford GT. GT500 2020 GT500 ran a 804. So this was 20 plus seconds faster than the Shelby GT500, which is crazy because it has 760 horsepower versus the 306 stock with the FK8. So this versus the competitors such as like the Ford Focus RS, the Golf R, and the STI. I believe this was the only car to stop under 100 feet with a 60 mile an hour stop. It stopped at 99 feet, which is very good. Comes stock with the Brembo brakes, and they're very nice. Now, the handling on this car is fantastic. It's like point and shoot wherever you want to turn. It is very, very responsive, especially when you're in the Plus R mode. The steering wheel gets a little stiffer, and it's point and shoot. It's fantastic. Now, the Type R corner is fantastic. That's why it has such good track times, and it's why it's able to beat the higher price, higher horsepower vehicles such as the 2020 Shelby that we mentioned earlier. So on to the fourth thing that I love are the sounds of the vehicle. Stock, the exhaust is pretty much non-existent, but I know for most of you enthusiasts, the first thing you guys are going to want to do, wheels, tires, which I highly recommend, and then a full exhaust. So I'm running the AWE track exhaust on this, so no resonators, no muffler, and then I'm also running the Ballade Sports Catless downpipe, and it sounds fantastic. It's very loud, a lot better than stock. I'm also running the PRL intake with the PRL turbo inlet pipe, and the intake noises are awesome. From factory, the intake noises aren't too bad. But once you get the PRL intake, it's fantastic. It sounds very good, and it's just a very nice driver mod. It doesn't give you too much horsepower. Just the pure noise of it while you're driving just makes it worth the money. On top of, once you're at your higher RPMs and your wastegate opens with the turbo, it sounds so good. Fifth thing that I love is the aftermarket and the tunability of the vehicle. There is, I mean, it's a Honda, so there is a ton of parts. I know PRL in general focuses mostly on Hondas. They have a ton of parts between your flex fuel kit, and then you've got your intake stuff, your intercooler, pretty much everything you can think of. And then another company that I run is the Ballade Sports. I have their Catless Downpipe. They also kind of focus on Hondas. They have a ton of products as well. They have fueling stuff. They have like body kits that they have for this. They have the Mugen type covers for these, but instead of spending $1,600 on ABS plastic for Mugen, you spend, I think their kit minus the diffuser is at like $1,800, and it's full carbon fiber. So, I mean, me personally, I would pick the Ballade Sports over the Mugen. I know Mugen's name is fantastic, but I'm not spending $1,600 on ABS plastic when I could spend an extra $100 or $200 and get full carbon. The tunability and the aftermarket for these vehicles are fantastic. They're just like Subarus, you know. There's a ton of aftermarket parts you can get and a ton of tunability. I believe people are running up to 550, 600 horsepower on stock blocks with these. More or less, once you get above 450 torque, foot-pounds of torque, you should probably start building your engine. But up to 500 wheel horsepower and 450 torque, stock clutch, stock engine block, untouched, and these things are holding power fantastic. All right, now for the opinions that really matter. My wife, Kaylee, what is something you hate about the Type R?
The glove box. It's like extremely heavy and like drops down really fast, and there's like absolutely no room for it in the car with how small the front seat is compared to it.
All right, so she's inside. She's gonna go ahead and talk about that real fast, or show you guys real fast. Yeah, as you can see, there's not much room if you got a passenger, but kind of nitpicky. It's all right. Can you name anything that you love about the Type R?
I mean, I love pretty much everything, but I would say like the fact that it stands out in a crowd, because like if you look at like Audis and BMWs and stuff, they have like a very round structure, and I feel like this one is like a little Hot Wheels car. I think it looks cool.
There you go, guys. If you want a Type R, girls love them, I guess. So yeah, if you guys are thinking about pulling the trigger on a Type R, I would highly recommend it. I know the prices have come down a little bit since when they first came out, and they had that huge upmark because dealers in America right now. The FL5 came out, so that kind of dropped the price of these, and I've driven the FL5. Obviously, I've driven the FK8. There's subtle differences, but it's still the same powertrain, same drivetrain. So I would highly recommend the FK8 if you have the money for it and you're looking into getting a track purpose car straight out of the box. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.